Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whale Nerds podcast. This is episode 126. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Caitlin.
You're back.
I'm back. Back in
Can't wait.
action.
Can't wait to hear about all your adventures, but we'll get all the other stuff taken care of first, and then we'll let you just tell us all how it went.
Prepared right now.
Get your timeline straight.
You get underwater in my head.
All right. Well, we'll start off by saying thank you to everyone who supports the show, whether that's on Patreon or reviewing the show, sharing the show, following us on social media, whatever it is, going on trips, buying merch. We really, really appreciate your support. You can support us financially by going on trips or buying merch or subscribing on Patreon. Even as little as $1 a month goes a long way for us. So thank you very much for that over the last few years. And to keep up with what we're seeing, what we're doing, pretty much everything that's going on is announced on our website. It's thewhalenerds.com. And we also have Facebook and Instagram. It's at Whale Nerds. And our YouTube channel has video versions of our episodes. And sometimes we put up other cool videos and stuff on there too. So you can follow along with us on there. And I think that's it for announcements. We'll do US sightings first, and then we'll hear all about Tonga.
Yeah, you can tell me. How about you tell me all the things I missed while I was gone?
Dude, you missed a lot of stuff.
I know. It's just like, well, the thing is the last 2 days before I technically left Monterey, it kind of went off. I think we talked about it because we did a podcast.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and it's like
and then I've done a couple episodes in between. Where I told everyone about our sightings. But yeah, I mean, basically you missed killer whales, humpback whales, the red-footed booby.
I didn't miss any boobies. I had tons of them in Tonga.
That's true.
Yeah.
What kind are they there?
Blue-footed.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, since last time I recorded an episode, we have had humpback whales and killer whales have been kind of the stars of the show. We did have a Casper sighting a couple days ago, which is fun. Also, almost every time I see Casper, there's another Risso's dolphin in the pod that has like a really damaged dorsal fin. It only has like just a little bit of it, like a third of its dorsal fin. So I feel like they run in the same group most of the time. Like,
you know what? Last time I had, probably over a month ago, last time I had Casper, I saw that one that you're talking about.
Yeah, pretty much every sighting this year, I've noticed that one in the pod too. So they must be in the same group. We also had some northern right whale dolphins and Pacific white-sided dolphins, very small numbers of those mixed in with the Rissos, but pretty cool to see them. I mean, all the way in October. We've seen them almost every month of the year this year, which is cool. For humpback whales, we've had some scattered surface feeding off and on. It's been decent. And then that super fun calf that I talked about in another episode where it was breaching for like 2 hours straight. We found that calf again, and it breached so close to the boat, I thought it was gonna splash everyone on the deck.
That video was insane.
And that calf is like,
it's a big calf,
so active and so huge, and it has like a pot belly. Like, it's so well fed. It has like a chubby belly,
and it's a new calf, right? Like, you guys just started seeing it while I was gone.
Yeah.
What if it's not even a calf? What if it's like, I mean, it's obviously a calf, but what if it's like second year? It just was like,
no,
massive.
No,
it's bigger than all those.
No, because ghost pepper's that big too, and ghost pepper's definitely
big now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, some of those moms are just doing a phenomenal job of feeding their gigantic babies.
Big old babies.
Yeah, I mean, that one calf is like not shy about breaching by the boat. Like, it'll breach towards you, and then like it'll do one like so close it's gonna splash you. Like, if I was in your boat, I would have been scared.
Oh my god, I would have been crying.
It would have been terrifying. Like, it would have waked you out.
It would have splashed me for sure.
Yeah, and like rocked your boat really hard.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I have to correct myself. They're actually brown boobies that I saw. But I swear one of them had like a blue tint, and I thought they don't lose, but they stay blue always, right? Blue-footed boobies.
I think once they're adults, yes. The juveniles, like, the color is not that pronounced.
Maybe it was juvenile, because I swear it was kind of. I have to look, but now that I'm looking at like a brown boobie, it looks like a brown boobie. I'd have to go look at my photos though.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of good stuff. Killer whales that have been around, it's mostly been the 51As with 50B and the 140Bs, but there have been some other family groups around. The day you landed, or no, the
In
day you were
LA.
driving home, we had the 140Bs, and they were harassing birds like they have been, but also they hunted a sea lion a couple times. And I think this has got to be one of the grossest things I've ever seen a killer whale do. And I've seen killer whales do gross stuff, but one of them had like the shredded carcass, like I think mostly the spine, like it looked like the spine and like the back meat all shredded, had it draped across its whole mouth, and it spy hopped.
I know.
With the
I
whole
cried.
gross thing in its mouth.
I saw
It was like
Doug's
the
photos.
coolest, but also the grossest thing I've seen lately with killer whales.
Did you get photos too?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. It
I
was
think I
so
would
gross.
die. Yeah, I talked to Kate about it, and I was like, if someone filmed that like on video, that would be the most incredible like footage.
Yeah, I mean, it just like came out of nowhere. Like
Yeah,
the other ones
exactly.
came up, and then that one came up spy hopping like 50 yards from them, and it was like, look at what I have. And I was like,
Oh,
that's so nasty.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. That's what Kate said to me. She was like, there was like no way you would have got a video of it because it wasn't anywhere near
Yeah.
the group.
Yeah, it was like 50 yards away from the other whales. I mean, I can't believe Doug and I got any of the shots at all because we had to swing our cameras so far. But
yeah, that's the thing about taking photos. You could always swing over and catch the tail end of something.
Yep.
But video, you kind of got to be you got to be aimed in the right spot. Otherwise, like the panning just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, lots of sea
How many
lions.
days was it? Did you guys have killer whales? Like 3.
How many? Yeah, we had 3 in the last like 7 days, I think.
So and the last sighting they were headed south, so they'll probably swing back by soon.
Yeah, I mean, the last
It's
time
fall,
that group was here, they
almost.
went north and then they came back. So who knows?
And we're getting into that time of year that's like kind of a killer whale vibey time.
Yeah, I feel like the fall is good for pinniped hunters. So great white sharks are pretty common from September to November in Central California. Killer whales are also pretty common. And it's like because the sea lions and harbor seals are at their healthiest, fattest weight this time of year. They've recovered from breeding. They've been feeding for several months. And this is when there's the most food in the bay. And then elephant seals have been out offshore foraging, but are starting to come back into more coastal waters as they get ready for the last push before they go to shore to breed. So,
yeah, that's things that like we don't talk about much. It's like these guys are smart, right? They could go kill they could pluck calves off on their way down. And I've been around killer whales with a brand new baby. I mean, like days or maybe a week at the most old, like can't even swim, gray whale calf, and they don't even go near it. And it's like they have to know
they're calculating the calories, I think.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I'm not gonna go after something that's like, doesn't have any blubber layer, has nothing yet.
Yeah.
And so I bet they do that with sea lions too. It's like I'm sure they pluck them off all the time, but I bet you certain times of the year they're like, ooh, like think about elephant seals when they're just getting back, they're gonna be like, their
Massive.
biggest. Yeah.
Yeah. Now in November is when they're at their heaviest weight and then you don't want to eat them after they've been on the beach for a month because there's no fat left.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't you feel like we kind of don't talk about that a lot? Like,
I mean, I talk about it a lot because that's my theory, but yeah, on the podcast we don't. No.
Yeah, but I feel like people just like that should be more. I don't know.
No, it's true. I hear people say, "Oh, we do see them more in the fall," but then they like don't follow up and explain why. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, and that like there could be a lot of other reasons too. Who knows? Maybe it's like hanging out in the fall. Whatever. Yeah. But like that just I think like that's a way better, theory.
Yeah, I think that the theory is that the food is at its fattest.
It's now my theory. I'm taking it.
Yeah. Wow, dude. All right then.
I'll hashtag you.
Give me photo credit or whatever. There was something else I was going to say about killer whales and I forgot what it was. Oh, we saw killer whales like right out in front of Moss Landing Harbor one morning, and one of them was like teasing all the sea lions on the MLA buoy.
Really that close?
Yeah, like
Well, I
so
guess I've
close.
seen them close, but
It was,
dang.
I mean, yeah, they were within a mile of Moss Landing Harbor, right? That's
That'd
what
be a
that buoy
really
marks.
cool photo of
But
like a
yeah,
dorsal fins going by the buoy.
yeah,
Like circling it, or a video. Can you imagine a video of it just like
yeah. It was
that?
so funny. It was
Like,
one of the 51As. I don't know which one, but yeah, it was pretty hilarious to see it. Like, I see you guys. And the sea lions are all trying, more of them are trying to jump on the buoy, and the buoy's already too full.
I always find it amazing that you could go, and it's kind of the humpback's fault. They're very good at distracting, especially if you start like ping ponging to like you see one, then you see three, and then you keep moving, right? But it's kind of amazing to see, like you'll be out there and then like you'll be on your way, and then all of a sudden there's killer whales in front of the harbor, and you're like, well, how did you get here past everybody?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were like the third boat out for the day. Like several other boats passed by these killer whales and didn't know they were there. And then we were like, hey, there's killer whales right here in front of the harbor.
Yeah. I love it. That's the best feeling.
Yeah.
It's really good if you're on your way in, but it could also be good if you're on your way out.
Yeah. Yeah. And a couple times over the last week, 2 weeks, we've had humpbacks and killer whales interacting a lot, and the humpbacks have been really upset, especially _period.
Yeah, I know. Kate
that
told
whale
me.
that you named. That is the most ridiculous name. Can I just tell you that?
Kate loves it. Kate got so mad when I told. Well, dude, it was
there's
like
already dash dot, there's already slash dot,
there
there's
was
already
like some other
exclamation
thing.
point.
The exclamation point I think was around or something, and then this whale. I mean, dude, it has a line and a dot. I mean, I'm not gonna name it line dot. I mean, it could be like a winky face if it had like a smile under it or something, but
yeah,
that's cool. I saw a whale today, Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh yeah, Ruth is a cool looking whale. It has it on the top and bottom of its tail.
Yeah, and
that white stuff.
the top side you mean, and then like the exactly, yeah. So you can see it. That's how I found it. It originally fluked up coming towards us, and let me tell you, that whale was friendly. Not with me. Well, it did come to me, but it was friendly with the sanctuary for seriously like an hour.
Oh, cool.
And it did come over to me, and it like did this like big spy hop, and I like had my R5 in my hand because I was like it
Which
was by them
too
originally.
much length.
Yeah, so well it was over at their boat, and I was just filming them like having this epic encounter, and then like and there's two whales, so like it's kind of hard to tell which one was like going back and forth, and you know. And so it comes up next to my boat, and I'm like fumbling to set my camera down. I'm trying to get my phone to unlock. And my passenger though, he got a really cool video of it like spy hopping next to the boat.
Sweet. Yeah, we had a friendly whale yesterday, and it was like 20 plus minutes of it just like going back and forth underneath the boat, spy hopping on both sides. At one point, it was like blowing bubbles while spy hopping next to us. It was really cool. It was a young female. We never really got a fluke ID because it never really showed us its tail very well, but it was pretty incredible.
You have to submit that name for the whale yesterday, because it's been here for a while now, graffiti, but man, I like that whale. I think the fluke's really pretty. And do you know if it's a boy or girl?
I don't know.
Oh, I got breaching photos, so I guess we could figure it out. But breached a bunch of times for us yesterday, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
We also had a lot of breaching whales today too.
Basically, you missed a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I was so bummed. It's so stupid though, because I was getting off the water and your guys' day is already done because it's like 4 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So I was like just starting my day, and I was like showing the people on the boat, showing the people I like met while I'm out there, and I'm like, this is what they saw today. And it's like lunch feeding. So it's like the opposite of what we're gonna see, you know?
Yeah.
But so it was really cool.
All right, you got your brain organized? You ready to hit us with the Tonga sightings?
It's too much to tell you. I can't handle it all. Yeah, it's funny because I always just looked at like I've seen millions of photos from Tonga coming out of Tonga, but I've never really paid much attention to the island like as a whole, and it's just absolutely like beautiful there. The whole entire island chain is gorgeous. Something that I learned though is like it's like everything is kind of unprotected there. Like they're just open in the middle of the ocean, so
Mm-hmm.
they have like no coral,
Mm-hmm.
and it we like you kind of really can't get very many answers out of people there. They just like like they don't know.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably a lot of fishing and like just like destroying the corals and stuff. But they said a lot of like typhoons and things like that happen there, and there's
Yeah.
no like barrier reef or anything, so it just
Yeah.
kind of like destroys everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it just like probably so slow to grow that just doesn't come back. Um, but yeah, the islands were super beautiful, and the people are very, very nice. And there's a billion dogs and pigs and chickens. And when you try to sleep there, the dogs bark until like 1 in the morning. And as soon as the dogs stop barking,
The
the
chickens.
chickens, which are like broken because chickens should be, calling at like sunrise, but these things do not care. There's
Whenever
like
they want.
it's just like soon as it's silent, they're like, "Oh, hi everyone," and then all the chickens on the whole island start going off.
Well, think about when I record episodes with you guys when I'm in
Yeah,
Hawaii. The chickens are always going in the background.
yeah, I don't even understand that. Like, I'm gonna have to look more into chickens because I don't get it.
Dude, they do what they want when they want.
Yeah. So, anyways, about the whales, we lost a day because they canceled one of our flights. So we were supposed to initially have 8 days, but we ended up only having 7. Which sometimes I feel like in the whale world, when you're a little bit late or like you miss a day and because of weather or something like that, it usually like you kind of can make up for it somehow. Like the
Mm-hmm.
ocean makes up for it. At least I like to think that happens. And we finally got to we had to stay on the mainland a couple days, but um, the day we got a trip the first day we get there, and the like not even 10 minutes past to like yeah, it's kind of a long harbor to get out, and there's like a big slow zone.
Mm-hmm.
And so right when we get past the slow zone, it's like boom, there's a blow. And we kind of like and they let you know like you don't get in the water with every whale. You kind of got to
Mm-hmm.
assess the situation, which makes sense. Just like here, you kind of check and see if they want to be watched or not. And so we get over there and we stop the boat, and the captain's like, "Oh, I hear it." And he like opens up the bathroom, and it's like coming through the bathroom, like through the
Cool.
toilet. You could hear the humpback singing. And they were like, "Okay, everybody get ready. We're going to like just put you in the water so you can listen to the humpback sing," which was really cool because you could definitely feel it. Like
Yeah.
only like not all the calls, but some of the like big groans you could feel.
Yeah.
And so we're all like in the water now. There's 4 of us and a guide in the water. And I'm like looking at the guide, but I'm like hearing the humpback singing to like out of my right ear, right? So I'm like, it's got to be like behind us. Like, but it's like it goes everywhere in the water. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like hard to tell. But so I'm looking at the guide. I'm like, I'm gonna stay by him because he does it all the time. And then, but I think he was just kind of like the whole point was just to listen. So it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like he was looking for the whale. He didn't even think we were gonna see it probably. And so I turn around and look back at the other swimmers that are all looking at the guide as well. And dude, this humpback is like 10 feet away from like the last
Whoa.
swimmer. And he's like on his side with his pec fin up. And nobody saw it. And I'm like, behind you, yelling at everyone. Um, and Margot finally turned and she kind of caught it on GoPro, but it's really funny because all of the 3 or 2, you can only see 2 of the other people, but they're all looking away from the whale and it's right behind them. So it's pretty awesome that like a 40-foot or bigger whale could just like sneak up behind you, have like. And then so it ended up like making a close pass. We kind of all got a look, and you don't chase after the whales, you kind of just let them be. So it passed us, and we get back in the boat because it moved on, and it runs into another male, and then they start like kind of like doing a little circle around the boat. Then another male comes, and it's like literally in front of us, like not even I wouldn't even consider it a comp pod, but it was just like it was starting to form.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool because it doesn't take long, and then it's like, oh, there's 2 more blows like just past this island, and like you could see them all kind of coming in. But we ended up like watching them for a little bit, like just topside. And then you can't really get in the water with them because they're so unpredictable. So it's like
Yeah.
you would get by the time you got in the water, they could be
They're
like
gone.
so far away. And then
Yeah.
even if they are making close passes to the boat, we were kind of stopped in this little middle area of like a bunch of islands.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's just kind of unlikely that you would get good looks. So we ended up moving out, and the first 2 days we did get in the water with some whales, but they were kind of moving. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like flyby kind of stuff. but they were still really good. We ended up having some like peck slapping and like good like topside behaviors. And then the third day is when the magic happened. It was supposed to be like the best weather day, although it was going to be like pouring rain. It was like the calmest sea conditions and stuff. So it's really cool. You're like just sitting on the boat, soaking wet. It's like pouring rain. And then we end up finding this mom and calf and two like escorts, or like two males were chasing it. And we got in the water with them, and all four of them like went by us, and then they did like 2 little laps around us, and then the 2 males took off, and then the mom just literally dove down, like basically just right away, a little bit away from us. We like ended up you like kind of moved, because they don't keep the boats near the whales. You like get kind of dropped off, and then you swim over. The mom just goes to sleep like 40 feet down. You could just see her chin looking up at like pointing up to the sky, and then the baby just circles us like, and it's really cool because and the mom is just sitting there, like 40, 50 feet down, and the calf, and they obviously do it on purpose. That way the calf doesn't have to like keep swimming up really like, long distances. And I think it's also so they can keep an eye on the calf as well. But yeah, calf just like rolling around, sloshing all over the place, then goes back, like tucks under mom, or like does a couple laps around her down there. It's so funny because you can see that the calves just like want to move.
Yeah.
Like they just, until they don't, and then they don't move. They just like are nursing or laying right under the mom or on top of the mom. But yeah, the third day, and then towards the end of that like encounter, all of a sudden the mom comes up and just lays like an inch below the surface, and just for like 15, 20 minutes, and the calf's just going all around her, and you get like all these really intimate shot like photos and videos.
Cool.
So after that, and like this is just like we had like a 2.5-hour encounter, and this was at from 9 a.m. until like we didn't even make it to lunch. So it was like just barely into our trip.
Yeah.
And so now we're like, well, we could just go home, or
well,
like,
now what?
yeah, we're like eating lunch, and it's like, how are you going to top that? Honestly, I think we ended up going in early that day because it was just like, I think we maybe saw we saw some other whales, but they were moving, and it wasn't like, just wasn't the right thing.
Yeah.
We ended up going into some like pretty beach and like eating lunch, swimming around, saw a turtle, which by the way, they have like no turtles there ever. Like we saw one turtle, and they just don't have turtles there, which I thought there would be turtles there. I don't know. I just had it in my head, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, well, if they don't really have a lot of reef, and
they don't have a lot of beaches really too.
Yeah, if they don't have a lot of substrate for the algae to grow on, then the turtles, don't have really anything to eat. So
yeah. So, but yeah, then so basically the next 4 days in a row were very similar, just in different locations. We went out. One of the days we went out offshore, and it was actually really bumpy, but it was the clearest blue water. And when you're in the water, it's not like the boat really rocks you, but when you're in the water, you're kind of with it. So it's a little different.
Yeah.
Although the waves are like kind of crashing over your head, which is cool. But clearest blue water, mom and calf, same thing, just chilling at the surface, like hanging out. And it's really amazing because like the mom will be there, and like she'll like have her eye on you, and then she'll just like close it and like definitely just be sleeping. And then like every once in a while she'll open it and like kind of like make sure you're like not too close, or like, like feel threatened or anything.
Yeah.
And then just sleep. They just sleep all the time.
Cool.
Yeah. But the last 2 days were really special. It was really windy and really rough, so we went to like areas that were just super protected, and we went to this place called North Bay, and another boat actually had a mom and calf, and they ended up passing it off to us. They had found it early in the morning. And the same thing, just beautiful weather, and I was able to get the mom and baby came up, and I was able to get a split shot of like the island with the mom and calf both at the surface, which I'm really excited about. And something that was really cool about the area was it was really shallow. So the mom is sitting in like 40 feet of water, but you could see her like plain as day laying on the bottom. And then like you could watch the calf go down and nurse, or same thing, go around and just swim around her, go under her. Like, it's so funny when they just like tuck under a peck fin, or like tuck under the fluke, and like, it's just like, I don't know, they really are just in an aquarium, and the mom is just like a big, rock, like for them to play around.
Yeah.
So then our final day, this calf just goes off. Like, well, we had a couple breaches in the water with the calf, which by the way takes them little to no effort. Like literally like this calf could be basically be asleep, and it's just like doing like an opposite of a pencil dive. Like it's just like floating to the surface, and then you're like, it's still going straight, it's still going, and then it's just like head just keeps going out of the water, and then it just like flops down. So it's like it's not like a full breach where they're like twisting and everything, but it just like it's like a spy hop, right? But like
Yeah.
a really tall one, and then it just like
Yeah.
flops over.
Yep.
So it was doing a lot of those. But on our final day, same mom and calf, which was awesome, same spot. They like obviously were just super chill with us, and you kind of do this thing where you share like you'll get a good sequence with them. Once the mom comes up, does her breaths, and goes back down, you'll switch off with another boat. You can only have 4 people in the water. So then
Yeah.
you'll switch off. They'll put their 4 people. Well, of course, the other 4 people get in the water, and this calf just goes crazy. Starts
Yeah.
breaching all over the place. I'm eating a sandwich. I'm like kind of cranky because I'm like, dang it. And so I'm filming it topside, which I have some cool videos of them breaching like right next to people, like the calf breaching like right next to the people.
Wow.
Like you know how the compression, so it makes it
Yeah,
look
yeah,
like it's
yeah. It
like
makes
gonna
it
hit
look
them,
really close, but it's not.
but really it's like 25 feet away from them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this calf goes crazy. Then we get back in the water, same thing. It's like just breaches. But when it was landing, which I didn't get any video of, which I'm kind of bummed about, it was opening its mouth in the water, like kind of like Pac-Man.
Oh,
So it would
cool.
swim around with his mouth open, like one of
What a
the,
silly goose.
yeah. So just like I thought that was really cool behavior. And so the very final thing that happened was we cut Margot, like, you know, she's like, I want you to get footage. So she like sat one out so I could go an extra one kind of thing. And Margot just wanted to take a break because it's kind of a lot when you're swimming all day.
Yeah.
And so she took a little break. And so she ended up going for the last dive of the day. Well, that calf had been literally breaching for over like 2 hours at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not like every 30 seconds. It did do some like back to back to back to back.
Mhm.
But a lot of it would go down to the mom, and then it would just come up and breach on that first initial like breath.
Yeah.
Well, the calf out of nowhere actually went off and breached so many times it got like, I don't know, I'll just say 200 yards away. Like not that far, but far enough to piss the mom off.
Yeah.
Like not at the people, but like at the whale.
Yeah.
And the guide, I guess, looked over at Margot and was like, this mom is gonna breach. This calf's way too far away, because they couldn't see it in the sight anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sure enough, I guess the way Margot explained it is like the mom like pushed her pec fins down, like she had him resting, and she like
Yeah.
pushed her pec fins down, kicked twice, and then Margot got scared, even though it was like totally gonna chin slap the opposite way. But she like you could see her wiggle around in the video, and then the mom just does a big old chin slap, and she
Wow.
does, and then she got it from the video. It ends up doing 3 of them in a row, and then calf comes over, mom goes right back to the bottom and like settles down again.
So
And
that
then,
was like the, hey, get over here.
yeah. And then but then after that was when we like that was the end of our day. Our other boat that was with the company hadn't seen any whales yet, so we passed it to them. Wasn't that they hadn't seen whales, they just didn't get in the water with any.
Yeah.
And so we passed it over to them, and that's when the guy got the video of the calf just swimming. It like turns towards him, opens his mouth, swims right at him, and then passes him. And like,
wow.
it's like, yeah. And it was
That's
yeah,
cool.
super cool. So I don't know. Why do you think the calves like stretch their? Because I also on the that third day, the calf was swimming around like pretty deep, opening its mouth and closing it. Like, do you think it's just stretching it, or
it could just be fun. I mean,
I need just expanding its pleats a little
like,
bit?
why do little kids run around with their tongue hanging out? You know,
Yeah.
like little kids do weird stuff. Little whales do weird stuff.
Yeah, they're floppy
Yeah.
CB. And the calf, it's so like what they're born at like between 12 and 14 feet or something, maybe
10 to 15. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and these calves are definitely like 3 or 4, maybe even a month old. Some of them, like some are
Yeah.
like still brand new that are around there, but then like maybe weeks old. But then this one definitely is pretty thick.
Yeah.
But then when it goes down to the mom, you're like, oh my God, it's so tiny though.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's when it's up by you, it's like 3 or 4 lengths of a human. It's like looks like you're like, oh my God, this could like, you know, it's massive. But
Yeah.
then the mom comes up and you're like, oh no, this thing is so tiny. Like,
I know, I love it. They look like a little toy. They're so cute.
yeah. And those, how long do you think that they keep that big belly for a little while? Because this mom, I mean, you have to like realize, because like at some points you are like 4 or 5 feet away, and like when the mom's up, and because like she'll kind of come up, float up to you, and then like come by you real slow with the calf. And
Yeah.
she'll even let the calf be between you. That's how you kind of know that they're trusting, because I feel like they wouldn't allow the calf to be on your side.
Yeah.
And like the calf will just be like on its side between you and the mom, like looking at you, and like half the pec fin on the mom, and you're just like, and the mom could easily like lifts her pec fins up. Like I feel like if someone were to get too close, she could like let you know very easily.
Yeah.
So cool. I don't even know. Just and like we got in the water 7 of 7 days. Like I said, the first 2 were kind of flyby, and like none of the whales were like settled down. They were just kind of active.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, just like the last 5 days, we got in with the mom and calf every day. And I ID'd that mom underwater like a boss.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you want to share that part of it where you matched them? You got in with the same mom calf.
Yeah, so it's so funny because that mom and calf that we got in with on like the let's say the 4th day or 5th day was it was in very like unclear, like the water. It was like between this like island that had like a sandbar, and the waves were pushing over it, and I feel like it was kicking up sand, and like just they also have that underwater volcano that's like you kind of erupting, and so there's, I guess it's like a type of sea, like an ash, but underwater ash.
Yeah.
And so it can like cause some of the parts, like it's weird. It'll be like dirty and then just clear as hell, then dirty, then like so it'd come in waves. So like it was like a really good encounter we had with the mom and calf, but it was, like I said, it was not great visibility, but I got a fluke of it. And then the next like 2 days or a day later, we ended up in the North Bay, where protected by the wind, and that ended up being the same mom and calf that we had over there. It just moved and chilled in the protected area for a couple days.
Yeah.
So amazing. But like people were like, it's a different calf. It's a different calf. And it's like, no, it's not. I got the mom's ID on 2 different days, which is just so awesome. But yeah, it sucks because, I only got maybe 6 or 7 IDs while I was there, but none come back. And I think partly because they're all white, it has a problem with it. Like,
I mean, the all white ones are just as hard as the all black ones.
Yeah. But like so the one, and then of course the one that comes back no problem is black with like white tips, right? Or like white with black, you know what I mean?
I also just think there's not very many people like doing happy whale there.
That was my next thing, is like there's like the 2 that came back, and one of them doesn't even have a bio or anything for some reason. Same lady, Karen Stone, I think from some sort of research organization or something.
I mean, I also don't know if people realize that they can submit underwater photos as long as the serrated edge is clear.
I don't even know. It just worked.
Yeah, even if the pigmentation is questionable, if it can read the serrated edge, it usually gets a fairly confident match. And so but I don't think people even think to like take that still from underwater and run it.
Oh yeah, I bet if people started doing that, it would be so cool.
Yeah, because in the Dominican Republic they do that. They do the fluke IDs from whales that are underwater.
Oh man, I was kind of like sad because I was like, I want one to show up in Antarctica or somewhere. But so I was thinking about it. Do you think that these guys end up going to the peninsula, or like, because they could just go straight down and not ever end up at the peninsula, right?
Yeah. So there's like 4 or 5 feeding areas around Antarctica.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what we'll talk about for next week's topics, because like you're right, they don't all just go to the Antarctic Peninsula. They do feed all around the continent. And so, I think the ones that are off the Western Antarctic Peninsula are most likely like South American breeding whales, but it's not impossible. So yeah, I want to do a little more research on that. I was looking at that today, but I want to read a few more papers.
Because they do have that whale that was seen in Tonga and Costa Rica, right? So one way or another, it crossed.
Yeah, well, and I feel like even more than the North Pacific, how the whales don't follow the rules there, the Southern Hemisphere is like a whole nother ball game because of the shape of the land.
Yeah, and if you're in Antarctica, you're in Antarctica, so you can follow, Oh, yeah, so I was thinking about that. Like, they probably just go straight down. Like, why are they going to go down and then all the way over to the peninsula? It's kind of far.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week, because it is pretty interesting, and I'm not super familiar with it, so I want to learn about it too, because I want to know like where are the humpbacks that we're going to see on our trip, like where are they most likely coming from?
You know what we are going to see?
Dude, you think?
Yeah.
I will cry if we see it.
That'd be so that would actually be insane. And it technically could be a possibility.
Yeah. So this past like week, maybe 10 days ago, a researcher was doing an aerial survey in Costa Rica and they saw an all white humpback whale calf.
Yeah, it's like,
Like
you're back
Migaloo
from Tonga. Let
style.
me hit you with some news. You didn't even see a white whale.
I mean, there's definitely like some poor lighting, light gray baby whales that people say are albinos, like that whole thing in Maui last year that was not an albino whale.
Yeah.
But this looks like a white whale.
No, this looks like Migaloo's child. Oh my God, it is.
I don't think that's true.
It went all the way from Australia. They met in Antarctica and they were like, oh my God, this krill's so tasty. Why don't you come back to Costa Rica with me? Boom. That's how it happened.
So yeah, maybe this little whale will make it all the way to the peninsula and we'll get to see it. I will lose my mind if I see it. Can you imagine what if we just think it's ice? Like, oh, that's really fast moving ice.
Yeah. Why does that ice have a blowhole?
Yeah, why is that
it's
ice
just pressure
breathing?
from a wave. Oh, that, you know what was cool in Tonga? On the main island, there's like this section of I don't even know the name of the beach, but it had like this big rocky like looking place, and it's just created like a blowholes over time. So it's kind of like
cool.
Caesar's Palace in Vegas. It's just like like a big wave will come and then it goes through all of the blowholes. So it's like
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yo, have you realized that we've been seeing a lot of whales from like southern Mexico this year, or like
Yes, and Central America.
And Central America, like Nicaragua is like a big one, I feel
yeah, like that calf that's been really fun the last couple of weeks while you've been gone. The mom has been seen in Nicaragua.
Dude, I think we have to go there.
Yeah, I think so too.
Damn. I got so
many places.
Too many places for whales. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like they're like such small little areas. Like, I think it still wouldn't be that straightforward to just go down there and find a whale.
Oh, in Nicaragua?
Yeah.
Why? Wouldn't it just be somewhere
I just think they're just like little patchy little areas where they are. It's not like Maui where you're like, oh, you can't even get off the plane without seeing one.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's something I want to say about Tonga is like, but then again, if you go off, like we kind of stay in the protected areas a lot.
Yeah.
But like on really nice days, you go offshore and there's definitely a lot of whales out there. But if it's like blowing 20 knots, it's hard to see them. And that's kind of what they said it was a really windy year in Tonga. And so I was telling them, I'm like, dude, when you get to Maui, there's so many freaking whales. Like, I don't think people realize. It's like, by the way, did you watch that documentary on Bertie Gregory's, like...
Oh, no, I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you're such a knucklehead. Are you serious?
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Anyways, I was going to say about the part with all the blows, like, you know, we've talked about the article in Antarctica.
Oh, yeah,
with, all the, like, fin whales, and it's, like, just, like, a photo of a billion piece of popcorn. That's kind of how Maui is. Like, if you think about it, there will be hundreds of humpbacks, like, at some point between Lahaina and Lanai.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're just like, there's a whale, there's a whale, there's a whale.
Yeah.
Like, this taxi ride's amazing. All right. Well, yeah, Tonga is actually incredible. I highly recommend it. Yeah.
So what was the experience like figuring it out, how to get there, like how many companies are there, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's quite a bit of companies, but so the company I went out with Nadia Ali, who charters the boat, right? The company, she like does a more private thing with this company. This company also runs like public tours too. The company is called Beluga Diving, which is so funny because like there's definitely no belugas there. but they're like the owners are super awesome. They also own one of the hotels there. And
because you're not on the main island of Tonga, you're on Vavau.
Yeah, exactly. So you fly to the mainland, but starting next April again, they used to have a flight. So like from America, you would fly to Fiji and then to Tonga Tapu and then to Vavau. But and they normally, and like before COVID happened, they had a flight from Fiji right to Vavau. So now, and there's also flights like from wherever to Auckland and then to also to Tonga.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, like that's kind of why we also went to, was it's just easier to go to Fiji and then like it's just a quicker flight. Because Auckland, you
Yeah.
kind of
I
got to
mean,
pass it and then backtrack.
that's because you're coming from,
Yeah, but if you're from
the US.
yeah, like Australia, they just fly right into Fiji. It's 3 hour flight, and then they have another hour flight to Tonga. Or yeah, it's like super like it's literally like less than going to Hawaii for them. Not like financially, but like time wise, it's like it's really easy for people from Australia to get to Fiji and then Tonga. And there's so many islands out there, man. I bet you there's whales at more like there's got to be whales at all. I don't know though. Like there's not humpbacks in Fiji.
Yeah.
Like there might be some that go by there or whatever, like because whales go wherever the heck they want. But it's not like you could be like people go humpback whale watching in Fiji.
Yeah.
It's not like a thing they market there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of funny that they just go. But if you think about it, Tonga has that trench, which is the second deepest trench in the world, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it has to do with that trench, that they just follow that trench or what. But
well,
and
really it's a
sense.
volcanic activity that they can hear and stuff too. I think that might actually be something they pick up on. Because I think about the Hawaiian Islands too. Like the Hawaiian Islands are even more remote. Like there's nothing for 2,000 miles in any direction.
Did you just make this science up? They're going to volcanoes this whole time?
I mean, maybe.
No, because they don't all go to volcanoes.
No, they don't all. But like, I think that the islands make a sound, whether it's just the sound of the weather moving around them, like in the Caribbean, or like for Hawaii, the volcanoes are making noise. And so like, I think that might be a big factor as to how they figure out where they're going.
I think whales piss me off. Because we're never actually gonna know. Like, I mean, unless we tag, like, there's just,
dude, let's just find a way to talk to a whale. I just want a 1 hour conversation. I have a list of questions ready.
They'd probably just answer with everyone like, you're an idiot, dude. You thought that?
Like, well, obviously we do this. And we're like, okay, that's not obvious to us.
Yeah, you dummies. Like, there's another island that's kind of like I guess southeast of Tonga. And it's called Awa, and they have a lot of good humpbacks swimming there as well. But it's not like, it's just Vava'u is really known because it has a lot of protected areas where mom and babies go.
Yeah.
And so, and like those are obviously the ones you can like.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like moms and babies have a different set of needs than whales that are there to party.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like a big old highway. If you go off like along the island chains, it's just a highway of humpbacks. They're definitely all over. But like, ones that are chilling they're usually up in like some sort of like blockage of islands.
Yeah. Like in Hawaii, like we get lots of moms and babies in the 4-island region of Maui County, but you can see whales off all the islands during the peak of the season in like February. So my guess is there's a lot of other adult whales that are outside the 4-island region. I mean, we see plenty of adults in the 4-island region too, but my guess is more of the adults are out on the other parts of it.
And you know what? They have seen. Well, what happens is sperm whales wash up dead. Like, not all the time, but like they have sperm whale bones like in there on the island. Like you can go see them and stuff, and like teeth and all that.
Yeah.
And because the Tonga Trench. And so like they die, that's the only thing they can float to, really, right? It's one of the islands.
And in New Zealand, like they have whale watching for sperm whales.
Yeah, because that trench runs right into New Zealand.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's like kind of the end of it, but you could get to it from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And so what's cool is there's sperm whales. They also have like pilot whales and rough-toothed dolphins. Oh, we saw spinner dolphins.
I was gonna ask you if you saw dolphins.
Yeah, one of the days, and we didn't like. You don't try to swim with them or anything. You just like they're just whatever. But yeah, we saw spinner dolphins. They came to the boat, jumped around a little bit. It was a small pot of like 25.
Yeah.
And then we were headed to like whales, and so they just went on their way. But I thought that was really cool. It was kind of exciting. It's like always fun to see dolphins in another area of the world. And but yeah, I was talking to someone like the only time like they'll really get in with dolphins is if the whale, it's like they're in with a whale and the dolphins come to it kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because otherwise the dolphins like it's just they might not be interested or whatever. Like they're just doing their own thing. So But I don't know. Like, I just feel like there's so many places we could whale watch. Like, I did the Tonga Trench. Why am I not just on a ship cruising it back and forth?
Just keep after you go from Mexico to Hawaii. Just keep going.
Like the Cook Islands, they have humpbacks there.
Yep. Yep.
Polynesia, all these islands. Like,
Yep.
it's just so hard to get to those places.
Yes.
So I need a really big ship that's electric and our big sailboat that's like the Titanic.
Oh my goodness.
Just sail around forever and never stop.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Oh my God. I did hear someone say Marinara Trench.
So, Marinara instead of Marianas.
Yeah, like we were having just a normal conversation about the Tonga Trench, and then they were like, "Yeah, but what about the Marinara Trench?" And I thought it was so funny.
You got spaghetti down there or what?
Like the person definitely knew Mariana, but I think they just like were saying it like
just
they were
a slip of the
just a slip, but it was so funny. So anyways, Marinara
So
Trench.
what other kind of wildlife did you see around Tonga? You told me there's like flying foxes and stuff too, right?
Oh yeah. So yeah, they call them flying foxes, but they're basically just fruit bats.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're even called flying foxes actually.
Yeah, that's their common name. Yeah, but they are a
Okay.
bat. Yeah.
Dude, they're not small.
No, they're
Like,
big.
They're literally big. Like, it's like putting Lacey with bat wings on her.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
they're pretty freaking big. And they're actually like visible during the day. Like, you see them all hanging in the trees, which is like, I feel like that's kind of uncommon, right? Well, for us, it is. Like, we don't see bats. Like, because there's bats in Carmel where we live. Like, I saw a bat at dinner the other night, or, over by
the lake, you see them at night. Yeah.
Exactly. But they're tiny and they're like at night. But like, no, these guys are out in the tree. So get this. We go to this like really pretty area to snorkel around, and like these big boulders that are just laying in the water, which is like just super cool. And the captain just goes like, and then all of a sudden, all the trees just like start flying, and all these bats are going crazy.
So he like spooked them or what?
Yeah, like he did on purpose. He just to show us, and they all just start flying around, and they land. Like it's just like it's not like it wasn't like rude or anything. I don't think. Like some of them were already flying, but like really a lot of them started flying, and you could hear them all too, which was cool.
Wow.
But
yeah, you saw boobies, you saw for seabirds. Did you see frigate birds or anything?
Yeah, there was frigates flying real high. There was a so I'm trying to look up the name real quick. There was this it's all black little bird, like, so they have some terns, like a sooty tern.
Yeah.
They also have this like tropical long tail bird.
A tropic bird?
Yeah, Tonga. Yeah, tropic bird. Is that what it is? It's all white?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get any photos because I every time I saw them, I wasn't kind of paying attention to them. But yeah, really pretty bird, long tail. Also, they have a red-headed fruit dove, I think. Let me see. It's called, a red-eared fruit. No, this is not it. Hold on. Dang it. Anyways, it's the prettiest dove you'll ever see. It's like, I was like, Margot, look at this bird out our window. It's like on a tree. And I'm like, it's a dove, like making very similar like morning dove calls.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Not that the morning doves are ugly, but these ones are cooler.
Nice.
And what else did we see? Yeah. I don't know. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of pretty birds. Like I said, no fish. I did see like a clownfish or two, like, and some of the like little corals, but not a whole lot.
Dude, well, that's cool.
Yeah. What? There was a schooling fish, and I didn't even ask them. I don't even think they knew like what the fish was called, or like maybe they didn't know like an American name for it or something. But it was like it was like a schooling fish. Like, what do the spinner dolphins eat?
Is it like lanternfish or something?
I don't know, but like they definitely came into the harbor at night, and like you could like drop a rock in the water and they would scatter. Like, but then some bigger fish chased them all the way into this little cove, and it was cool because everyone from the restaurant got up and like went out there, and you could see all the fish. Like it was like a humpback was gonna lunch feed on them. Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean they have like little sardines and stuff. Is this
the city?
Your tropic bird?
Oh yeah, that's it with the long tail.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was amazing. Everyone should go to Tonga once or twice, or like once a year.
Expensive, but worth it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's expensive, but like you're there for like the thing is like the trip is slightly expensive, but it's cheap on the island, kind of like depends on where you if you eat at like a local spot, it's like, dude, we ate for like 40 top, which is like $20 US for like 4 of us. Like and you're eating a lot of fish. Like this is kind of like it's fish. Oh my God. They invented new potatoes. Cassava and taro. I don't know what the heck where those came from, but all of a sudden there's these
They're from there.
there's new potatoes and they're
But there's taro in Hawaii, but it came from there.
No, I know, but it's so amazing. It's so good. Like the cassava was really good. I feel like they kind of have that with well, on the main island we had that a lot, but they actually just had potatoes with like all the dishes on
Yeah.
the island I was on.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's our secret whale of the week?
Did I tell you they see rough-toothed dolphins? Have you seen one of those?
I've never seen one.
I want to see one. I just feel like it's kind of like a bottlenose, right? Bottlenosey.
It's more alligator looking than a bottlenose.
Or some more common dolphiny.
Yeah, but like the forehead is sloped like really.
I could just Google it.
At an angle. It's not like a big bump. It's like a slope on the forehead on the top.
Oh yeah, I see that. Dang, they're weird looking, huh?
Yeah.
I wish I would have saw them. Next time. Secret whale. I just make it a humpback, man. I'm gonna say it on the podcast. They're my favorite whale. They have to be.
Yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. If you listen this far into the podcast, we appreciate you. And yeah, we'll talk more about like the actual patterns of humpback whale migrations on an upcoming episode for the Southern Hemisphere, because it's not just straightforward. Everybody needed the Western Antarctic Peninsula. So we want to learn it too. So if you're interested, look out for that one. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you. See you guys.
Thank you. Bye.